Hi, world. What up? Kick it back here in the NBA playoffs. The second round's almost done with. Pretty much saw the Miami Heat. They took out the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. Should have been a sweep, but Chris Middleton pretty much went 2017 Kevin Durant on the Miami Heat, and they closed game out four, or they closed out game four. But game five, the Miami Heat pulled it through. Giannis Antetokounmpo is hurt with his ankle. Kind of see what happens next. Pretty much they're going to cover on the topic here for the FS1 show, Speak for Yourself. Pretty much going to cover with the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo and his future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hear them out and then give my take, of course. I've already said with a couple of videos, I expected the Milwaukee Bucks to make it to the NBA Finals. Pretty much no one really saw it to where the Miami Heat would take them down in the second round. You probably have around 5% of NBA fans, but that pretty much kind of throws things off. With the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're going to have to make some key changes for the 2021 season. I've always stated they should always make a trade for Chris Paul. I think we've seen now with rumors this is more of an escalation to where they have to get that done with. But with Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's not going to request a trade to leave to a team next season. He's going to give it one more season and evaluate his team, all the franchises out there, and see if he wants to leave or not. So let them talk. We'll jump in here.
Leave Milwaukee and go chase a ring?
Absolutely, he needs to go. Say yes, peace, goodbye, thank.
Before he goes more into detail, my case, I've always stated Giannis Antetokounmpo should leave the Milwaukee Bucks. I've always thought he would get one finals appearance, so we may see that for next season. If not them, then it will definitely be the Brooklyn Nets. But for Giannis, if he gets a finals appearance or not, no superstar or star is going to join him in Milwaukee. You do have Chris Middleton out there who's an all-star player. He really cannot be your second option. The best case scenario if they bring in Chris Paul for the last season and they could squeak out a finals appearance, but I doubt that they would win a championship. But that's the best shot they have at it. But if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're going to be around 26, 27 years of age in the 2021 free agency class. And I think it's just best case scenario. He either goes to the Miami Heat, the Dallas Mavericks, or the Golden State Warriors. I think ideally the Miami Heat is best suited for him to be in a mature franchise with an establishment and culture of winning. When you have Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, who've been there for years. And we've seen with the Miami Heat, they're a dominant force. They have Jimmy Butler, who would be a perfect offensive threat sidekick alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo. But if you're not looking at Miami, he can look towards the Dallas Mavericks, to where Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic would be perfect players to play alongside him to take on the scoring offense, especially in the clutch. The Warriors are always in the mix. That's not really in his DNA. I doubt he will go there to pull Kevin Durant. I think ideally, if he were to leave, Miami or Dallas is the best fits. Some people have thrown out the Sixers and the Hawks. Those cats are too young when it comes to it. The Sixers would have to make too many moves, and I think he wants to be in a win-now situation. There have been reports, and I've seen some interviews to where he's looking to spend some years in Milwaukee to grow a championship team. So you kind of see he has that loyalty DNA, kind of like a Damian Lillard. I'm not sure. I think if he loses again next season in the playoffs, the pressure is going to be up there for him to leave. No one's going to want to join him.
Thank you for your services.
But we'll see. We'll jump in
and
here.
what I stand on are a few principles here. The first one is Giannis should be able to have the freedom of mobility to go to any of the other 29 teams and just play for financial success and freedom, but just the opportunity. But two, as he's pursuing that, which is taking care of his and taking care of his family, he should be able to also go out there and chase a ring without the negative stigma. And that stigma has been placed on these players, especially of late, because the power is in the player more so than the general manager. The general manager is late to that party, to that transaction in terms of acquiring players. Players make that movement.
That's true, but with the Milwaukee Bucks, they pretty much set a championship team around Giannis Antetokounmpo for 2019 and 2020. In 2019, the Bucks should have been in the finals, and with the hobbled Golden State Warriors, the Bucks had the length and offense to where they could have won that series. So that was a blow on them. The 2020 season here, pretty much they were out for 5 months, and they got back in the bubble, and they were never the same team. So I mean, it is what it is with external forces of the coronavirus and quarantine session. But if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's unexcusable how you almost got swept the Miami Heat in the second round of the playoffs. He needs to work on his jump shot. So it's not really on upper management. The Bucks were favorites to make the East even after the bubble struggles. So it's on Giannis as of right now being a leader on that team.
Back in the 80s, yeah, it was a team that had Kareem already on it, and Magic drafted to it, and then James Worthy's drafted to it, and then you have the Super Lakers, or in Boston when you have 4 Hall of Famers on the same team. Yeah, that's when the GM was sitting there in the cloudy, smoke-filled room and could make these moves and make these things happen. But now it's happening when these guys are at these skilled training facilities, just texting each other, just meeting in the Hamptons, whatever it may be. But the issue that I have the greatest point with and the greatest problem with is this sense of loyalty. Like, literally, you're drafted somewhere. You're forced to go somewhere to play. And he was forced to go to Milwaukee to play at the age of 18. And now, because of this loyalty, he's supposed or is expected to just stay there through highs and lows. And that shows loyalty. I think the greatest loyalty needs to be to himself and to his career and to his opportunities of pursuing a championship, and that's it.
I mean, Giannis can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man. Looking at his DNA, it looks like he would stay with the Milwaukee Bucks. He pretty much has those 90 vibes of a player. He's trying to be the alpha. I think it's all easy to say that when you're early in your career, but pretty much when you're losing year after year in the playoffs, you can't reach the standards. People will put you on that pedestal, and you can't win a championship. And when you're getting higher in your 20s and it's your first time being an unrestricted free agent, that's when life really hits at you. You're looking at a bigger market. You have all these opportunities to team up with different players or go to different franchises. I think as of right now, Giannis is stating what he needs to stay politically. I think he would like to stay in Milwaukee, but if he loses again next season with the Bucks, they can't bring any star players, and you're meeting with the Mavericks or the Miami Heat, you're going to look to go to a bigger market, and you have a team that can win a championship. So I know Giannis is kind of talking the talk right now. Let him be where he has to be, but I don't know how he could stay with the Bucks in that small market. No one's going to be able to join him unless he wants to ride things out with Chris Middleton and the crew, but I don't know. We'll see what it is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised and shocked if he stayed with the Bucks, because I know he has that sense of pride of wanting being an alpha and having that loyalty, and he doesn't like to work out with other star players. He wants to be pretty much like that Michael Jordan mentality, which is cool. I think ideally the Miami Heat's the best fit for him, but he can do what he has to do. We'll kind of have to see more next season as the media is pressuring him like they did for Kevin Durant and then LeBron James, all these players. But, yeah, they're going to go really after Giannis. They want to break up that Milwaukee team with him.
Sir. I mean, as a man who looks up to you, I'm disappointed in you. Giannis doesn't need to go chase a ring. Giannis needs to bring a ring to himself. See, Giannis wouldn't be running toward a ring. He would be running away from his limitations. And that is the problem I have. Now, you always got to look at the counter argument. You don't want to be one of the greatest players of all time that never won a ring. You want to be one of the greatest players of all time, period. You don't want that little extra additive to that sentence. But Giannis, when they were talking about the Heat matchup, this is what really rubbed me the wrong way. You're about to be a 2-time back-to-back NBA MVP. And everybody's saying, man, the Bucks had a bad matchup. The Bucks had a bad matchup. Giannis, you should be the bad matchup. You're 6'11", a freakazoid. But the problem is everybody is telling the Bucks what the Bucks couldn't do and what the Heat could do to them. How come people weren't sitting here like, man, the Heat will have no answer for Giannis? If he is that great, which he has the ability and has proven in the regular season the ability to do, then he got to be able to do that in the postseason, Marcellus. If Giannis...
The Heat and everyone knows that Giannis Antetokounmpo does not have a consistent jumper, and it's not there. From the three-point line, from the free throw line, and from a mid-range jumper. So pretty much if you're the Miami Heat, you clog up the paint and you force him to take jumpers, which Giannis was doing. He's got a really awkward shot. That's pretty much what he needs to work on in the offseason. You know, pretty much he has the built and a frame of a Kevin Durant, but now he put on muscle. So ideally, if he can work on a step jumper mid-range, a catch and shoot from 3, And if he can get that to around where 70% where KD is, Giannis would take over the league, and especially in the playoffs.
Giannis does not have the nucleus of a roster that could win a ring. If Giannis were to leave, it would be a punk move, and we have seen punk moves as of late. Now,
we went punk
it depends what kind of bed you want to lie in. At the end of the day, Charles Barkley, he'll never be able to say he has a ring. But everybody does. We don't question Charles Barkley's greatness. On the flip side, KD will for sure be able to say he has several rings and finals MVPs. But people will always be like, man, KD, could you have won it without them Golden State Warriors? Because it's not like you didn't have a squad. So I'm just saying Giannis might end up in that same type of conversation. Marcellus, how you got the best record in the league and get bounced? Best record in the league and get bounced, and not even in a pretty fashion. Giannis doesn't need to go chase a ring. Giannis needs to bring a ring to him.
I almost feel bad jumping in on this at this point because, Acho, you just took Marcellus down. I feel like I'm piling on here. But
please bring it. Y'all both don't combine to my weight.
Let me be clear, and you guys may know this about me, maybe you don't. I'm a practical man. I'm not into the whole loyalty thing. He should stay there. He should be guilted in staying there because so many guys have left, and it's a small market. Giannis should stay in Milwaukee because he's not going to find a place better suited for him and everything that he wants to achieve. It's a team that has another all-star in Chris Middleton next to him. He has two other all-defensive team players. He has a guy in the coach in Mike Budenholzer who's been in an organization that has won championships. He knows that championship formula. So when I put it all together, Milwaukee can, by the way, billionaire owners who are willing to spend almost everything and anything. And there's a familiarity there that Giannis has. So I'm not asking him to do this to make a sacrifice to stay in Milwaukee. I'm looking at what he said, what he has, and I'm saying, Giannis, you can't go to a place that's going to get you something more than that. And if we're talking about legacy and
no, sir. The Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks have a lot to offer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not just being bigger markets, but management and what they can surround him with. They already have established stars in Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and role players. And then if you're looking at the Mavericks, they already got a superstar already in Luka Doncic. And then if you still have Kristaps Porzingis on the team, that's another all-star type player on the team. Listen, Giannis, if he stays with the Bucks, Chris Middleton's he's a good sidekick, but he's not a sidekick that can guarantee you a championship. And if Chris Middleton is a quote-unquote second option, you're pretty much going to make a conference finals appearance. I doubt you'd ever make the finals appearance after this falling season. They really need to look to get Chris Paul. If you had Chris Paul as your second option, Middleton as your third, then you definitely can make the NBA Finals. I'm not going to say you're going to win it, but I mean, pretty much he's going to have to leave the Milwaukee Bucks. It just is what it is. We've seen with Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers, he's tried to stay loyal. And we've seen you don't have any superstars or key players that are joining the Blazers. They've only squeaked out one conference finals appearance, and the rest of that they've been bounced in the first or second round in the playoffs. And that's going to be the route for Giannis Antetokounmpo if he stays. But Giannis is a superstar, so he's going to be a little better than that. When it comes to it, he's going to have to leave the Bucks. He's going to have to join either the Miami Heat or another franchise if he really wants to get the media and everyone off his back and critics to win a championship, which I believe he will.
One championship to Milwaukee now connects him to Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If he goes anyplace else, it's going to require multiple championships to get that done, in much the same way that LeBron's one championship in Cleveland is worth two in Miami.
Yeah, I would love to be connected with Kareem and win a championship in Milwaukee and do what Kareem did, leave. Kareem left and got, 5 when he went to L.A.? So don't talk about that connection. Kareem was like, yeah, okay, that was cute. Let's go somewhere else where there are greener pastures. That said, There is a basketball situation that's even better for him right now, and a lot of reports are firing up about it. The Miami Heat, talking about ownership and resources.
Come on, Marcellus. You that guy?
I told it's going to
go to the team that beats you. You're that guy.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you're that guy.
Hell yeah. Let me tell you one thing.
That.
Let me tell you one thing. Y'all didn't learn from the Kevin Durant situation.
What we didn't learn?
Because he got his 2 rings.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Liz and Mike. When they're growing family,
Real quickly, they're about to start here.
expenses,
Kevin
our
Durant joining
agents
the
help
Warriors
make
was a
saving
different
on
situation.
insurance
That was
easy.
already an
USAA,
established
what you're made of, we're made
top
for.
3, top 5 team of all time in Dynasty. So
Here's the
Giannis,
thing.
he could go to the
Nobody
Warriors.
in
I doubt
history
that would be.
is going to question if Kevin Durant is a better basketball player than Charles Barkley. Just be real about that. Y'all can try to poke holes and call them all the names you want, but when you talk about who was better, you're not going to have that argument. And this is an argument that Giannis should not get lost in. Don't go down that path, brother. Go down the path that's best for you. Slick Rick, I don't know where you are right now. It's pretty dark in there.
It was dark. It was incredibly dark.
Unsolved mysteries is chasing something going on right now. But Slick Rick, it's amazing that it sounds like a war crime almost how they draft you. They force you to go somewhere. And no matter what happens there, you're supposed to stay there or we're going to persecute you.
Listen, whenever you're a player, you get drafted to a franchise, you owe them nothing. LeBron owed Cleveland nothing. I mean, even though it was his hometown, it would have been a nice – he was a really good fit with Cleveland. You know, how he looked in the jersey, how he played for his home team in Akron. So he got a championship done with. But if you're one of these other players, they're getting drafted to a franchise. I mean, like Kevin Durant, it would have been very nice if he won a championship with Oklahoma City, but at the end of the day, he wasn't really forced to. But I would still love for him to go back there to win a chip for them. If we're looking at another player such as a Giannis Antetokounmpo, a Kawhi Leonard, you know, kind of players who are just drafted, they don't owe the franchise anything. So that's pressure on upper management to pretty much get the coaching, get the roster to fit the player. And the player can go anywhere. We're seeing Kawhi Leonard, this is his 3rd franchise. He's looking for another championship on the run. Or you can be like a Damian Lillard, stay on your franchise, probably not even get a championship and say that's loyalty. Some of these players, they're already a star in the small market, so they're very comfortable pretty much being, you know, superstar all around, which Damian Lillard's cool with. He doesn't want to be a second option somewhere else and try to take that risk going elsewhere. Which it is what it is. Kind of the same thing with like De'Aaron Fox. He's probably going to want to stay with the Kings to get paid and be one of those main players on their franchise. Probably same thing with John Morant coming up in the future, and et cetera, et cetera. But if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're too good to not win a championship or get to a finals. And this is his 2nd season to where he should have made at least one finals appearance.
And a guy like Acho will call it a punk move if you decide to go to greener pastures to give you not only the financial success that you're going to get either place, but there's a cherry on top potential if you go to the Miami Heat, potentially go to the Portland Trail Blazers. Who knows what could happen to Golden State Warriors and what they could cook up. But the point of this is, I just don't like the stigma. Whatever he wants to do, if he wants to stay, please don't sit there and say, this guy is better than the rest because he stuck it out. Like Russell Westbrook was winning that argument for 2 or 3 years and then realized, man, let me try and figure this out somewhere else for greener pastures. I wish people would stop pushing back on these guys for having the freedom that we all should have.
It's not Marcellus that he's better than the rest. It's that Giannis said it himself. 2018, they asked him about superstar teams. He said, you don't got to have a lot of stars. He said, I definitely think we have great pieces, and every guy on this team knows his role and is having fun and enjoying his role. Giannis, when asked about being buddy-buddy with guys, he said Kobe didn't have a lot of friends while he was playing. He said KG, he wasn't buddy-buddy with a lot of guys. I just don't think that makes a ton of sense. Giannis didn't grow up in this AAU culture where we all got to kick it and post each other on Snapchat after the games. Giannis has already expressed his opinion, Marcellus. He has already said, I want.
Can I kick it off on here, end things off? Basically, Giannis Antetokounmpo, this is a very different situation because now he got bounced out in the playoffs, not in the finals or the conference finals, but he lost in the 2nd round and basically almost got swept, basically, when it comes down to it. Now, Giannis right now, mentally, that's a panic in his legacy. You're asking a big deal and a big command for him for next season to pretty much basically make the finals. If he doesn't make the finals and if he gets bounced in the 2nd or 3rd round, people are not going to really call him a true superstar in that top tier with LeBron, Steph, KD, and Kawhi Leonard kind of in that group, possibly Harden. They're not going to put Giannis in that tier anymore if he can't take his team far into the playoffs, let alone the finals. I think ideally Dallas Mavericks or Heat. Let's kind of see how things wrap up this offseason.